So hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to Learning the Basics Overwatch guides. I know it's been a while, guys. It's been a few months. I do apologize about that. I have taken a break from these videos, just enjoying the game, enjoying other games as well. But now I'm back, giving you the guide that you guys requested the most prior to me taking that break, which was Winston. So as you guys all know, my own rankings are as followed: is a 5-star rating, and they have the difficulty rating, which I'm going to start giving at the beginning, and then there's the master rating, which I will give at the end, and I will explain why that master rating is where it is. So Winston is a 2.5-star out of 5. If I was doing a 3-star, again, I would leave it exactly where it is with Blizzard. 90% of the time, I don't agree with Blizzard's ranking, but for Winston, he's perfect where he is. So another thing I've been talking a lot with people, I've been hearing a lot from different people, is that Winston's an off tank. He's only an off tank. And I agree, he is an off tank, but he's not only an off tank. So I would also branch Winston into the main tank role. Now, there's two reasons for this. Is when you look up what a main tank is someone who has a protective barrier or a shield and can create space. Looking at Winston as a whole, Winston fills both of those. He fills both those roles. He's got a barrier. Yes, it's not a great barrier, but it is a barrier, and he can create space. Now, a lot of people forget that right now there are 2 tanks with the barriers, or 3 tanks with barriers, but 2 of them are ineffective. So Sigma's barrier is the exact same health as Winston's barrier. It just has it just doesn't cover. It doesn't cover as much as Winston does, and it's not as big, so it doesn't have just a huge hitbox. Then there's Orisa. Orisa's barrier is actually less HP than Winston's barrier. It only covers 180 in front of her, 80 degree in front of her. So you gotta be very careful when you're explaining what a main tank is, because actually Winston right now in the current Overwatch way of nerfs and buffs, I would say Winston is more effective as a main tank than Orisa is, than Sigma is. The only downfall with Winston personally as a main tank is that he's got short range like Reinhardt, so that's the downfall. When it comes to off tanking, he does exactly what an off tank is supposed to do. He can harass the back line. He can dive. That's what an off tank. He can flank. He can punish. So those are things that you got to remember when looking at different tanks. Is that do they fill the 2 perspective roles of a main tank, and do they fill the 2 perspective roles of a dive tank? A dive tank's perspective roles are backline, so the off tank. So can they punish anybody who overextends, or can they punish the backline? Can they help out defending the main tank or staying with the main tank? Those are 2 things that you gotta really look at when you're talking about off tanks. Is can they punish? Are they gonna punish the backline? Are they gonna punish overextenders? And can they help out with the main tank? And Winston can do both. Now, when you are running dive effectively, Winston is always going to be the main tank in the dive comp because he's the one with the shield. But when you pair him with any other tank, like a Reinhardt, Orisa, Sigma, you can be paired with all of them as an off tank. But he also brings the main tank kit as well. So with Winston right now, he's actually one of the more played heroes in the higher elos from what I've seen. And he's paired really well with a Zarya, a Diva, or a Ball, in that order. Now, the reason why I put him in those orders is because it's Zarya just is the ability to shield Winston and let him get that jump pack back. Diva can defense matrix. Can help him out, can dive with him. Ball, same thing, can dive with him. Ball and Diva are both great picks to play with him. But I would always prefer a Zarya or a Ball or a Diva over the Ball. Now, if you're playing straight dive, Ball is always the go-to because Ball runs the dive. A lot of people have been saying oh no, Winston runs the dive. Actually, it's completely false. The Ball is actually the one who runs the dive unless you are comfortable as a Winston to run the dive. You pretty much are supposed to be following as a Winston the Ball and going where he is, because when the ball lands and then you land, you do 50 damage if you can land properly with them, and the Ball is also going to do damage, and you can kill whoever they dove on. So the Ball should be running the dive in most scenarios, but he is the main tank of dive. So that is why he is a hybrid tank, guys. So we're going to get right into his abilities. I'm going to try to go through this as quick as possible so it's not a huge, long video. So the first ability, which is left click, is Tesla Cannon. This is a beam multi-target weapon. It has an 8-meter effective range forward. So when you're looking straight, there's 8 meters from him, from his cannon, and a 6-meter area of effect. So the width in front of him is 6 meters long. That will do damage. He has 100 ammo on this clip. He does 20 rounds per second, meaning that's 5 seconds of damage. That's 60 damage per second to all targets that are focused on, that are in that beam. This beam chains. It is in front of him. It does not get blocked by barriers. So it is a very powerful weapon. It is great to deal with Genjis. It's great to deal with Widows, Hanzos, anybody who's not a Reaper, pretty much. He can punish. It's got a reload time of 1.7 seconds. And it can't hit, well, obviously it can't headshot. So that is his Tesla Cannon, guys. So remember, it does 60 damage per second. It's got an 8 meter maximum range, and it does 6 meter width maximum range with 100 bullets and 20 rounds per second. Multi-target and can chain to other enemies in that radius. Going into his one ability, which is his left shift, is his jump pack. So we're going to talk about the jump pack. The jump pack is an area of effect landing ability. You click, when you use this ability, you go 30 meters forward right off the bat. That's per second, and it's got a max range of 18 to 25-ish meters. The area of effect is a 5-meter radius landing damage. So when you jump around someone, you do 1 damage. I think it's 1 or 2 damage now. I don't remember. And then when you land, depending on where they are in your landing circle, they take 1 to 50. So if you land directly on top of someone, they're going to take 50 straight damage. If you land to the left or right of someone, they might take 25 or 35 or 15, depending on how far they are from your landing area. It has a cooldown of 6 seconds, and during Primal Rage, this is on a 2-second cooldown. Remember, during Primal Rage, it's 2 seconds every cast. So you can use this effectively in your Primal Rage 5 times, 6 times if you use Primal Rage prior to jumping in. I mean, if you use Primal Rage while you're jumping in. So that's just to let people know that this can be effectively used 5 times during Primal Rage. Okay, going on to his next ability, which is his barrier projector, which is the barrier I was telling you about when I was talking about being a main tank. This barrier has a 5-meter radius. It's an area of effect of 5 meters. It has 700 HP, which is exactly the same amount of Sigma's and 100 less than Orissa's, with a larger actual effect radius than Orissa and Sigma, I believe. The only downfall is it has a huge hitbox. It's got a 9-second duration, so if people aren't shooting at it, it stays for 9 seconds. And it's got a cooldown of 13 seconds. The big thing about his barrier, like almost every other tank who's, I think it's only Orissa who's got it, but like Orissa and I believe Sigma, the cooldown starts right when the shield is dropped. So once you hit that E or that 2, it drops. Okay? Now, we're going to talk about his ultimate now, and then I'm going to talk about all of them in conjunction with each other. So his ultimate is Primal Rage. Now, his ultimate, when activated, he becomes straight melee. There's no more Tesla Cannon. There's no more barrier projector. You can't cast either one of those in his ultimate. His jump pack, like I said earlier, is reduced to 2-second cooldown. So the best way, so the other thing is that Winston's HP he gains 500 health immediately when he's casting it. So he goes up to 1,000 health or 1,000 HP, because it's not just health, it's 900 health and 100 armor immediately upon activation. He does 40 damage per swing. He gets a movement speed bonus of 30%. He gets a 4-meter swing range. He gets a 0.66 recovery rate, which is effectively about 1.5 swings per second. And it lasts for 10 seconds, and again, can't headshot. It's a melee ability. So the big thing people need to understand with this ult is that the best way to use it is, for this ult, is that when you use it, you should use it at like a lower HP. When you're within like 150 HP, you can use it. Upon completion of his ult, and his ammunition, his Tesla Cannon is completely restored. So if he was at 40 ammo, he gets 100 when he comes back. Again, that could have changed recently. I'm not 100% sure, but I believe it's still the same. And as long as he has over 400 HP, he comes back with 400 HP. If he has any armor upon the breaking of his ultimate, like upon his armor disappearing, he comes back with that armor as well. But as long as he's over 400 HP, he will come back with 400 health. Okay? Now, to talk about using these all in conjunction with each other, so the first thing we're going to talk about is Tesla Cannon merging with Barrier Projector and Jump Pack. So the best way to use your Tesla Cannon is to use it in front of the enemy. So you got to make sure you're always staying within the sight of the enemy, and your cursor, your crosshair, always aiming at that enemy. So the best way to use this ability with Jump Pack is when you jump up in the air, when you're coming down, make sure that you press your left click, so you're doing that extra little bit of damage. And that extra little bit of damage will actually help you in the long run, because when you come back down, they're going to take that damage from your jump. They're going to be a little bit lower, and you might actually be able to kill them. Now, again, being said, remember, Tesla Cannon doesn't get affected by barriers, guys. So you can actually shoot through a barrier. It doesn't get deflected. It doesn't get affected by deflects. It doesn't get anybody who gets attacked by Tesla Cannon or get attached to the frontal cone of the electrical weapon takes damage. Nobody can avoid it. Okay, there's nothing that can avoid it as long as they're within that radius. The other way to use it is with your barrier projector. So your barrier projector, when you deploy it, you can use it as a way to play. If you guys played back when Orisa was really, really overpowered, you can actually play hopscotch with your shield, or peekaboo, as I like to call it, where you walk through your shield and walk back out. You can do that with Winston as well. You can walk in, walk out, walk in, walk out until your shield's gone, and then you can jump away. This will help you survive, and it will keep you alive. Now, that's his Tesla Cannon combos. We're going to go straight into his Jump Pack. So the Jump Pack combo, same as the Tesla Cannon. Jump up in the air, land down on someone, use your Tesla Cannon. You can also use this to jump up in the air, and, let's say you have a scenario where a diva throws a diva bomb. You can actually jump after that diva bomb, throw your shield down, block the damage in your bubble, and still get away. So this can also be used to defensively save your team. It's great for that scenario, because then you really piss off a diva and you really save your team. So like when a diva bomb goes off, and let's say it goes up in the air, you can actually jump up after it, pop your shield down, let the diva bomb drop in your shield, and boom, you've just saved your whole entire team, because that diva bomb blew up in your shield. You stopped it. You might die for it, but it's better that you die for it than four of your members of your team or two of your members of your team dying for it. So always remember to use your Jump Pack both offensively and defensively to help out. You can also use this your Jump Pack to jump and help out your Ana. You can also use it to just jump away and drop your bubble behind you, so that they shoot the bubble instead of you, so you can actually get away. That is how you could effectively use Jump Pack and Barrier together. Now, again, Primal Rage removes both Tesla Cannon and Barrier Projector, so we're just going to cover Primal Rage with Jump Pack. Remember, 2-second cooldown in Primal Rage can be used exactly how you would use it normally, by jumping up in the air straight, doing damage, coming back down, swinging. You're going to do 50 damage for the Jump Pack if you can land directly on them, plus your 40 damage swing. That's 2 swings per Jump Pack, let's just say. You can get, in the Jump Pack, you can get 2 of them probably, 2 swings. You're going to do 100 and, what is that? 90 plus 50 is what, guys? 140 damage. So yeah, you're effectively going to hurt the enemy who you're jumping on. So now, the reason why I'm going to talk about Primal Rage in general without talking about anything else is Primal Rage, very difficult ult to master. Great to use. You can use it to disrupt the enemy as much as possible. But you gotta remember, it's just like Roadhog. So Roadhog is a great ultimate battery, so is Primal Rage. You're a huge target, and you got a huge collision as well. So you gotta remember, so that's the dangers of using it. So again, you want to use it when you're at low HP and are in danger of dying. It's got a low damage output, but it's the knockback that really matters. So when you knock these people, remember, you're knocking these people back. So you gotta learn, and the best way I can put this is juggling. Juggling, if you ever watch like some pro gamers who play Winston, they will show you what juggling is. Juggling is bumping one way and then jumping and bumping again until the person dies. You can also do this by bumping them in a corner and just juggling that way, knocking them up until they die. That is up to you. It's not, again, it's not a bad thing. Like, you can also use it to knock people off the map. That is a great way to use it. It's actually hilarious to see like a Roadhog who's ulting or a Reinhardt who's coming up to ult get knocked off a map while ulting. But you can do that as well with Primal Rage. Just remember that when Primal Rage does end, guys, your jump pack comes back immediately, allowing you to escape where you are. So let's say you're on let's just say King's Row, okay, and you're fighting on the first point, and your team has just lost, or you're about to die when you come out. You know you're going to be at like 100 HP. You can actually jump out of there and get out in time before they do that extra 100 damage to you or something like that. So it's great to use it that way. So the basics of this, that's the basics of Primal Rage there, guys. And that's actually the basics of Winston. So like again, Winston is one of the best counters to very mobile heroes, might I add. And he's actually, I will say, Winston's probably a really good tank for those newer players to pick up. Again, difficulty rating's not high. It's about a 50% difficulty rating. To play him to 100% effectiveness, it's going to be a little bit more. His mastery rating is a 4-star out of 5, simply due to the Primal Rage juggling and the learning to Primal Rage. Another thing you can do, okay, so I'm going to jump back a little bit. But with both Tesla Cannon and Jump Pack, you can also melee on the way down, or melee when your Jump Pack ends. So meleeing that target when that Jump Pack ends will actually increase your damage output from the Jump Pack. So instead of doing just 50 damage, you might do 65 damage. I think it's 15 damage per melee or something like that. So you're going to do more. You can also do that with Tesla Cannon. So complementing Tesla Cannon with a melee will also help you do damage. Because remember, it does 60 damage per second no matter what. If you're meleeing, if you're fighting a single target like a Reinhardt or Narissa or anything like that, meleeing as well. The technique, the left click melee is a great technique for any for Winston. It's a great technique for Zarya. Like I said with Zarya, or it's a great technique for Roadhog, complementing a melee in there once in a while. It's a great technique for any tank, and that is, I will always stand by that. Learn to melee as well. Complement your other abilities with meleeing. So always try to melee with Tesla Cannon when you're shooting, and always try to melee when you're jump packing. However, that is learning the basic guides to Winston. Remember, he's got a 2.5-star difficulty. He's not hard to pick up. He's got a 4-star out of 5 mastery rating. He's the only reason why that is, if there wasn't Primal Rage and it wasn't as hard to learn as it is, he would probably be a 2-star, 2.5-star mastery. Okay, so remember, he's a great tank to pick up as a new player. He's just hard to master due to the fact that Primal Rage. Anybody can pick him up and play him effectively, but to play him all to 100% effectiveness requires a little bit of learning of the character. Remember, guys, learning them is the way to go, and being comfortable on that hero is the best way to learn that character. So if you're going to pick up Winston, follow the tips I've given you, follow exactly what you could do with him. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to comment in the YouTube section below, or you can message me on Discord, and I will be happy to oblige and answer them for you. But other than that, guys, have a great night, take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Like and subscribe. Thank you. Have a good night.